Good afternoon, family. Just want to give you another little piece of information. I want to talk to you today about the power of the experiment. There's a lot of great things we can do out there, and then we just have to focus on one or two things and get moving. And with youth ministry, there's a lot of things that can succeed, and there's a lot of things that may fail. It's depending on your audience and your volunteers and your resources and your facility. So the best thing you can do is come up with a game plan, pick principles and ideas from all over the place and say, how can I adapt this to my atmosphere? So what the power of the experiment is, you sit and you start to understand why you want to do what you want to do, and not necessarily all the details. Figure out who you're trying to reach and why you're trying to reach them and where you want to set your program up. Many, many different ways. Again, depends on your position, depends on your resources, depends on your opportunity, your facility, who you're trying to reach. But I also want to talk to you about something called aim, fire, set. I believe John Maxwell said that. Sometimes we get so bogged down into figuring out how to have the most perfect program that we waste the opportunities that are around the corner, or we waste the opportunity of a wealthy and healthy volunteer that is willing to be a blessing and help us. Or we waste the passion someone has at that moment, and we get back to them months or weeks later and they go, man, I decided not to do nothing to that. I don't want to do it anymore. Or we lost their passion, or they moved on, or we lost them completely. So have a plan. Stay with your why, figure out why you're doing it, get some details in a row, have a plan. Know the big picture, work in the middle, let the experiment be the middle, but know where you're going. Always look for the small improvements. Always look for the things that you can tweak. Give you a little story. Many times when I left youth group years ago, I would leave there, and on my way home, I'd be talking to God, and I was like, this was the worst thing ever. These kids didn't pay any attention. I don't even know if I want to do this anymore. I was discouraged. I was like, oh man, I'm not making any impact. And the funny thing was, every time I was thinking that on the way home, God would always go, did you see little Billy in the corner? The little guy that comes because he has to come with his big brother, and he doesn't even want to be there, but he sits in the corner all shy and by himself, and usually has his head down, and if we're lucky, he doesn't fall asleep, or he may be good enough and pay a little bit of attention. But did you notice? He made eye contact with you the whole message. He was intently listening. And did you notice after your message, during the game time, he came up and talked to you and never stayed at his seat like he normally does until Big Brother says it's time to go home? So I want to challenge you. Every time you leave your ministry, every time you leave your opportunity to serve the Lord, anytime you feel like your experiment's not working, sit back and ask Him, Father, help me see the good and help me tweak what needs to be tweaked. I want to talk to you about a book, Dream Big by Bob Goff. It's a great book. It's got a lot of good information in it. It's got a lot of stories. But he has a quote in there that says, if you don't pick anywhere, you'll lose the opportunity to influence the outcome. See, sometimes there's a time for action. Sometimes there's a time for planning. Yes, we need to plan and we need to know our big picture. You know your big picture of why you're doing what you're doing and where you want to get to and how you want to get there. It's the little things in between. It's like, okay, do I speak longer? Do I speak shorter? Do we play more games? Do we give them some time off? Do we speak longer? Do we have this event? Do we have that event? What should I speak on? What shouldn't I speak on? How do I impact them? How do I impact them? Who am I trying to reach? Am I trying to reach the kids around the corner? Or am I trying to reach kids around that corner? Am I trying to reach those kids? Am I trying to reach these kids? Am I after adults? Am I after volunteers? Well, who do you try to get? Continue to move forward in every small way that you can, and always tweak your ministry to be better. And Bob Goff's book will give you some great ideas on how to dream big. Just a little book review and little thoughts for the moment. You have a great, blessed week, my friends, and see you later, family.